Thursday, December 19th. Welcome back to the Plus. It's great to have you here. We're brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. Today's live stream being powered by BetUS as well. And thanks for coming on by. It's good to have you here. I already see the skepticism, and I appreciate it. I really do. Albert wants to know, are we in the denial phase of the 49ers right now? No, look, there's no denying. This season has gone off the rails. There is no denying the massive feeling of disappointment that you are entitled to have if you are a 49ers fan right now. What you wanted and what you got out of this year are two totally different things. But for those who want to attach a level of incompetence or negligence or trash can emojis or a level of these guys are clowns who don't know what they're doing, you need to calm down and back off that a little bit. You really do. Oh, by the way, I did think I would do a show today to raise everybody's Christmas spirits, just a scotch. The 49ers are not going to be raising your Christmas spirits very much. I hear that Isaac Guerrero might not go in Miami, and that means, they're probably going to lose, which is actually a good thing at this point in time in the year, okay? Losses are fine from here on out. Everyone know that. Again, you want to lose from here on out. So when they lose, don't complain, right? Okay. But the truth is that this team is so close to being a 10-win season right now. That's where I think the madness comes from. That's why everyone's so pissed off. The 49ers are the only team in football who are top 10 DVOA offense and defense and have a losing record. Now, I don't have to explain to you, if you are a 49er fan, you know what a weird, cockeyed, injury-plagued year this has been. After last year, they didn't step in too many puddles of injury. It's been raining injuries and unavailability and problems, and stems back to holdouts and hold-ins and contract negotiations and off-season headaches that didn't go away until way too late in the year, and I hope everyone's learned the lesson on that. You got a pretty good rookie class, all things considered, right here in front of you as you start looking about how you build towards the future. Brock is about to get paid. There's no amount of screaming from the top of Sutro Tower that you could ever do that would change that. It's going to happen. And guess what? It'll be fine. It'll be fine. These leagues and these teams know how to operate around cap numbers that look insurmountable to those of you who are at-home capologists, but the guys behind the scenes, they always put good teams together. It's going to happen again, no matter what they pay Brock Purdy. Will it be a little bit more difficult to put the puzzle together? Sure. But they will. They will field a good football team next year, my friends. I promise you. They will field a good football team. As a matter of fact, this football team that everyone insists is just the worst that they've ever seen. Shows you how good you've had it around here. It's not as bad as you think it really is. It really isn't. It's been frustrating, but I'm going to tell you right now, they're 4 plays away from being a 10-win team. If all 4 of these plays either directly led to the score that turned into the margin of difference in the game or preceded the play that turned into the score that was the difference of the game, or in one instance, eliminated the 49ers' chances to create the score they needed to get back in the game. And here they are. Don't let special teams give up a big return in LA all the way back in the beginning of this year. There's your first win of the season right there. Oh, no, wait, it's worse than that. You got to go back to week 2. Again, this is why you can't just slide into a season and let holdouts have everybody a little slow and a little off kilter early on in the year. That 97-yard touchdown to Justin Jefferson, that was week 2. If Justin Jefferson doesn't take it to the house for 97 yards, that game is a 49er win. Again, had they not given up the huge return before LA kicked the game-winning field goal in week 3, that game is a win. Had Brock not gotten picked off late against LA on Thursday, and this is the biggest stretch of all of these, because Brock would then need to still score a touchdown or a field goal. And then, but when he threw that interception, that snuffed that game out right there. Had he not thrown that interception, that game could have been a win. And had Devondre Campbell not given up a 50-plus yard run to Kyler Murray on the very first play of that Arizona Cardinals game at Levi's Stadium all the way back at the beginning of the year as well, that's the difference in that game. That 7 points that Kyler scored right there is the difference in that game. That was a 1-point game, for goodness sakes. 4 plays. 4 plays away from being a 10-win football team. And if this were a 10-win football team, they'd be on top of the NFC West, and everything would feel and look a lot different. Again, 4 plays away. 4. That's it. But Damon, they didn't make those plays. Well, thanks, Sherlock. I got it. But for those who really want to say, I am looking at a bonfire of a competence, and we are the equivalent of both New York football teams. We might as well be the Dan Snyder Redskins. We are freaking comically inept at winning football. Some of you need to stop trying to win Oscars with every single post you put on people's YouTube chats. Like, there's some seriously, some real drama students doubling as 49er fans. Again, football isn't for everyone. It's been propped up that everyone is going to like this, but I've seen with my own firsthand eyes that not a lot of people are ready to deal with the weekly stress that football puts on them. These games all matter. That's why every single one of them counts. It's why every single one of them gets a big rating. They matter. And unfortunately, the 49ers didn't matter enough on a small handful of plays to where the entire season has been turned around. Now, let me tell you, when you are in your 5th running back, and that's where they are, right? There's Elijah Mitchell, done for the year. Christian McCaffrey, done for the year. Jordan Mason, done for the year. Garendo, hurt this week, so you're on your 5th running back. So right there, anything you get out of your running game is by definition gravy when you're that deep into your depth chart. We know how bad of a year it's been for this team's wide receivers, either with the Ayuk injury or the Debo slowdown or the Ricky Pearsall never really showed up to help that much in the first place rookie year that he's put in front of us, with Jacob Cowing getting no snaps basically from the line of scrimmage. That's been a little disappointing for sure. But with all of that going wrong, with injuries to Trent Williams, with injuries to Nick Bosa, with season-ending injuries up and down the lineup, with nicks and dings persisting all year, with Fred Warner playing on broken ankles, with all of the things that have happened to the 49ers this year, they shouldn't be 4 plays away from being a 10-win team. They should be buried. They're not. I mean, they're in last place in their own division, but they're not buried. Everything that happened to the Niners this season equaled. You're not going to be, Damon's never going to do one of those, this is how close you were and how close you could be to being good again shows. If they were that bad, I wouldn't do this. What do I get out of being a content creator who would be lying to you? Although several content creators with much bigger audiences, because they've gotten head starts on me in this space, have lied to you about how bad this all is and how incompetent it all is and how, for anything positive to ever happen to this franchise again, Kyle Shanahan's got to go. He's not going anywhere, and he shouldn't either. Guess what? He ain't perfect. He's a good coach. To even suggest anything otherwise, that he doesn't meet the definition of good coach, means you just don't know what it is we do here. You are clueless. You are the most single, just bought the ticket, been watching for 5-minute casual level of football fan there is, if that's who you are. Does Kyle do things that upset you? Does Kyle let down in big games, unfortunately? Does Kyle have a defense that doesn't make the tackle on 4th down that would have won the fucking Super Bowl? Yes. That's him. But he's pretty damn good at the job. He really is. I think even more proof that he is good at the job, and the 49ers offensive struggles this year directly relating to their red zone struggles this year, which is the only reason why they haven't scored the 40-ish more touchdowns this year than they did last year. Again, you subtract 40 touchdowns from any team season over season, what are they going to look like? Why were those touchdowns subtracted? Is it because Kyle doesn't know how to call a play? Look, it's been a challenging year. We all know that. We've seen it with our own two eyes. Again, the coach's version of writer's block is the best way I could go about explaining why the team is stalled and looked bad at times. It's been a very frustrating year. Debo became utterly useless overnight. Brandon Ayuk, until he vanished with an injury, might as well have had an injury because he did so little before he tore his knee apart. Ricky Pearsall, again, hasn't shown us anything outside of third and Juwan, outside of Juwan Jennings and George Kittle. Nobody showed up to play with Brock Purdy this year. And Brock, I saw this today in the Chronicle. Eric Branch had this one. He was looking at Brock's year, breaking down the numbers where things went wrong. Everyone's doing their when things went wrong evaluation of what's going on with the Niners right now. Brock's numbers throwing against zone defenses are essentially identical. It is against man-to-man where his numbers have fallen off the cliff. Now, I'm going to ask you this. Do you think that that's Brock's fault? When we know for a fact Debo sucks, Ayuk vanished, Jennings is slow, we love him, but, Pearsall's done nothing, Cowing's done nothing. No one has stepped up into the void left by this team's two best wide receivers, and that's why this isn't happening. It's not Brock. It's the wide receivers who cannot separate. But the offensive line has been, again, it's been good enough to get the job done. Is it great? Is it devastating? Is it awesome? Can you set your watch by it? No, but it gets the job done more than it fails on the job. The defensive line, again, it's been maddening watching them miss so many freaking tackles all year long. They still got a decent DVOA defensively. Special teams has been the bane of the entire year, along with a wide receiver group, which collectively has earned the letter grade of F. The 49ers wide receivers have failed this season, and if you're looking for the failure, I don't think you really have to get more imaginative than just saying Debo and Brandon Ayuk fucked this whole thing up. They did. They really did. So if you're telling me two guys fucked the whole thing up, and now you're going to get an offseason to correct that and get better in other places, I'm telling you that the music's not going to stop for the San Francisco 49ers. This is not an incompetent, poorly run, poorly coached, poorly built organization. They're a bad team, they're a good team that had a bad year. Funny year from Shanahan, funny year for the players. We've got a level of infant mortality coming out of the 49ers locker room that was incredibly disturbing and jarring and has to affect the way guys operate in a gladiator sport. You're watching your friends bury their children. That's got to stay with everyone a little. Weird, underline it twice, italicize it, year for the 49ers. I know that people want to get accusatory and just Nick Sorensen and Brandon Staley. And look, neither were particularly impressive, but I don't know if Nick Sorensen and Brandon Staley were as bad this season as Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk were. So I'm going to ask you to exercise a little restraint and a little caution before you start throwing your fandom out with the bathwater that is this 2024 season. I really hope that the 49ers lose their next 3 games, improve their draft position. Let's just get the hell out of this year and start looking towards next year through the prism of the draft and free agency. And when it comes time to re-signing your own players, don't twiddle your fucking thumbs anymore, San Francisco 49ers. Get it done. Cheers. Got a little sip of the day. That was perfect. By the way, I'm so happy. The Dutchess is officially here. We're going out to lunch in a little bit. I got to drop off a coffee to my mom today. Oh, I'm so happy the Dutchess is in town. I'm a mama's boy. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. I'm a mama's boy. I am thrilled that my mom is here. This whole house is going to be warmer and sweeter and gentler and lovelier than if she weren't here. Because of that, we're going to be rolling back, let's call it Christmas hours here on the channel. I don't know if the show is going to happen 5 days at all next week. I don't think we're going to be working on Christmas. Again, I got family, I got kids. Why work for yourself if you can't get yourself a few days off here and there? But we will certainly be dropping some videos, some shorts, some reaction. Indiana's playing Notre Dame tomorrow night. That's going to be a cauldron of emotions for me. I don't know if that needs to be online or not. It depends on how everything goes, but this is going to be a good time of the year. And I'm just telling you, if you're a 49er fan who's just had it up to here with this season, you tap out if you have to. But don't motherfuck them as if they are some sort of collection of untalented incompetents who will never find victory again. I mean, like, some of you, seriously, are first-team All-American overreactors. You really, really are. Damon, you're making excuses. Oh, we're pointing out things that affected the year. If you can only look at that through the prism of you're making excuses, then so be it. I guess that's the way it goes. Forget about making excuses, though. Make some sandwiches. Make an order in Ike's to get yourself the best sandwich you're going to have. Look, food porn, boom, it works every time. There I am. You see that little trickle, the dribble of barbecue, or this little A1 sauce, some steak sauce coming off the bottom there? That's ribeye, that's onion rings. Personally, when I do this, I don't put any tomatoes on my sandwich. I like red onions, a little lettuce. I like pickles and jalapenos, and I get mine not on the Dutch Crunch, but on the French bread. So I don't cut the roof of my mouth like I'm eating Captain Crunch. My man Ike is opening a brand new shop in New Orleans, and because of that, if you sign up for the Ike's Love Rewards program, you get a sandwich when you sign up for that. You don't need to be in New Orleans. That happens at his locations. And if you do want to get to New Orleans when you sign up for that Love Rewards program, you will be entered for a chance to win a trip for two to New Orleans to a very large football game that's going to be played in the Superdome in early February. So Niners ain't going to be there. Maybe you will, thanks to our good friend Ike. By the way, over 100 people in the room right now. Hopefully we got about 100 likes right now as we're moving along here today. Let me tell you, wash everything down at the Dubliner in West Portal. I'm going to have to bring Linda into the Dubliner for a pint at some point during her trip here. She always likes to get to the Buena Vista for her Irish coffee. We do that with Linda every single San Francisco trip. Summertime, wintertime, doesn't matter. We go to the Buena Vista for an Irish coffee. Love it there. Love the Buena Vista. Love that Irish coffee. And I love the Dubliner. I love these boys so much. Thank you for their constant support here of this channel and of this show and of this person. Kenny and John, thank you very much. May your Christmas holiday season be spectacular. And finally, I will not be betting on the 49ers. And when I'm not betting on the Niners, I'm not using BetUS. But when you go to use a gambling site to lay a bet down, because we got bowl season coming up, we got important NFL playoff games coming up, I want you to use promo code YouTube150 to get 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 over on BetUS. So thanks very much to them for sponsoring what it is we do over here. Means an awful lot. Back to the Niners. Because now if you're saying, well, Damon, okay, so the 4 plays, They are 4 plays away from maybe being a 10-win team. But another reason why they're not getting those plays done and they're not that team and they don't they don't qualify for these hypothetical wins that you're talking about is because John Lynch has blown an awful lot of, early draft picks. And he has. This is something that Larry and I have been talking about on Wake Up. By the way, we will be doing a Wake Up Friday morning, so we'll see you there, 9 a.m. West Coast time. I think I'm taking my show off tomorrow, though. But Larry and I are going to do a Wake Up. And, he's brought up the fact that this team has missed, 8 of 12 first-round picks. And that's a terrible shooting percentage. And there's no doubt that John Lynch has swung and missed early in the draft, but he's had a lot of contact later in the draft. Hopefully he is, learning on the job, learning what matters, learning what translates a little bit more. This last draft class might suggest that he has. D-line, O-line, clearly priorities in this upcoming draft. I don't think there's going to be any confusion about how important it's going to be to protect a quarterback that is now not getting, his paycheck with a Groupon, but is being paid like a real big boy NFL starting quarterback. You got to protect that guy. You got to protect that investment. So O-line, D-line, I think you're going to see it. I think linebacker is a position that'll come up early in concerns. And then obviously you need more talent at wide receiver quickly. You either find that through free agency or through the draft, but that's non-negotiable. It's hard to imagine Debo faster next year than he was this year. And that's a contract that's going to be hard to move. I think Debo's back. Brace yourselves. Juwan Jennings, he's back. Ricky Pearsall 2.0, Jacob Cowing 2.0. Let's see if they can have an offseason that changes them around a bit. George Kittle, I'd sign that extension right now and shut him down the rest of this year. I wouldn't let him out there. Too important. As I've been saying, I would have Dre Greenlaw on the on the stingiest of snap counts. I know you want to get out there and play, Dre. You went through a lot of rehab to get back to this point, but we need you week 1 next year more than we need you in Miami on Sunday. So I think you let him play a little. You let him play out the stretch a little, but you don't want to overextend him. You don't want to overextend Bosa, Warner. Dude, as far as I'm concerned, Diamador Lenore is now a made man. You don't want that guy getting hurt. So, John Lynch, again, you got Pooney, you got Mustafa, you got Cowing, Garendo, Pearsall. Jury's still out on 2 of those guys for sure, but, Pooney and Mustafa are going to be here for a long time. I want to get into some supers because I see we have them. I don't want to just leave them to the end of the show here. Anthony, Damon matters. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. You matter to me too, Anthony. Licht Scorpion. Anthony Licht Scorpion. Thank you very much. Watch out, DB. You're making way too much sense. Merry Christmas, Joe. I think you might be right. I probably should be more overreactive, and I should be walking down hallways screaming into my phone going, I think everything's bad at all times. And even when they were going to the Super Bowl, I thought everything was bad. So now I definitely think everything is bad because the record says so. I'd probably be over 30,000 subscribers by now, but I'd rather be right where I am with a modicum of integrity, professionalism, and know-how than be a panicking, screaming total football pussy, which there's a lot of out there. This is Michael. Michael says, I agree with your points, Damon, but I do believe our team does need than just mild upgrades over next year. Well, the upgrades, I think, are, O-line, D-line, wide receiver, linebacker. I'd like to see another corner. There you go. I don't think you should spend big in free agency really on anyone, and maybe Brock will restrict you from doing that. Again, Brock's number will affect next year in terms of how it's constructed. There is a reality that if the 49ers walked away from Brock Purdy and signed Sam Darnold, that Sam Darnold would be more cap unfriendly to next year's team construction than Brock Purdy's $55 to $60 million contract would be. How you structure these things is going to greatly affect how it all comes out in the wash. And remember, we're washing every single roster with the funny money that is the NFL cap. It's all manipulatable. It really is. So, extreme mild upgrades. I don't know what's, would you want any mild upgrade? You're looking to upgrade. You're looking to get better everywhere all the time. It's like that for bad teams. It's like that for good teams. It's like that for teams that win the Super Bowl, lose the Super Bowl, don't qualify for the playoffs, and everyone in between. San Bruno Mike, time to reinvent yourself, Kyle. I agree. I think Kyle needs to do an awful lot of what am I looking for? An awful lot of inventory of what he thinks is most important to be a successful football coach. And I hope that as he looks at his inventory, he is going to take special teams out of the gutter and put it somewhere where it belongs. It's an important part of the game that Kyle has just let not be a priority for far too long. I think that's got to change. I think offensively, he knows what he's doing. It's just a bad year. I think offensively, we wouldn't be talking about his lack of creativity again had he had Christian McCaffrey, and maybe he got a little bit too dependent on Christian McCaffrey. Like, I'll meet you out on in that intersection and shake your hand right there. Maybe he grew too dependent on what used to work and didn't pivot quickly enough to what might work since these guys are unavailable and not working. Yeah, I think that's fair, San Bruno Mike. I do. And by the way, San Bruno Mike, 110 online, only 50 likes. Become part of the initiated, and you've done it now for a year. We started offering memberships. Right, we've had some recent 1-year membership anniversaries celebrated. True Blue Forever just the other day. San Bruno Mike, thank you so very much, man. Really appreciate it. Ralt Decimo, hit that like and subscribe. Yeah, hit it up. What are we at now here? Still, we got to keep on going. Hit that like button, boys and girls. Hit that like button. Or maybe you don't like the concept that the 49ers are not totally negligent. Maybe you're only happy if you get to pretend the team that you claim to care about is run like a clown car. Well, okay. But if you're a misery loves company, I don't know if I'm going to be good company for you. Look, when your team sucks, I will let you know. Okay? When your team is an uncompetitive, treading water at best, certainly swimming nowhere franchise, I will be happy to let you know that. We're not there. Not even close, as a matter of fact. And boy, what an example of incompetence has been offered up for you today. We'll get there in just a second. Joe, best Grant impression ever. Have a wonderful family holiday, Damon. Here's a little something extra for that Irish coffee. I think you just bought us an Irish coffee, Gina. Those things are officially now, I think, $8 a pop, if not more. Maybe. But thank you so very, very much, Gina. Gina's an OG. Her membership is probably coming up soon, too. Thank you, Gina. Thanks to all of you. Thank you for the supers. Thanks for the support. Thank you for just hitting like and subscribing. Thank you for hitting notify. Thank you for telling your friends about the channel. Word of mouth, still the best advertising in the world. Go ahead, when you're done with the video, take that share button. Share it across your social medias. Hey, check out Damon. He's one guy who's not shitting his pants over the 49ers at all times. Kind of an interesting way to approach covering sports like an adult. Hey, it's been a bad year. It's been a down year. It's been a funny year. The whole thing's been cockeyed. You ain't the New York Jets. We'll get there in just a second. We've said Irish coffee enough. We've said the words Irish coffee enough to do this. Do, 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 do. Here we go. Why not? Go to lunch with Linda. Gonna pick up the boys. I heard Jillian is throwing it right into holiday cookie baking mode. And then when they get done baking those trash holiday sugar cookies. I said, I want several flights of chocolate chip cookies coming out of this oven. If you're baking a cookie that isn't a chocolate chip cookie, you're wasting my time. Sorry. I don't believe in seasonal cookies. I believe in chocolate chip cookies. I also like an oatmeal raisin cookie. I also like the butterscotch, the butterscotchies, the scotchies, even Ray Ratto. Even Ray Ratto fell in love with the butterscotch scotchies that my mom baked for him several years ago. Ray, if you're watching, give me a call. We'll run you over some butterscotchies to Alameda tomorrow, maybe this weekend. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not Buena Vista Irish coffee, but there's whiskey in that coffee, which means Padraig from Ireland should be wanting a sip of this. AB, rest, relax, reload, come back strong next season. It is all about them draft picks. All about them draft picks for sure. Hey, Damon, I'm about to get your sandwich from Ike's. It's my favorite. Tom, you're going to love me. You're going to love me. Thanks for watching. Thanks. And, eat me. Thank you. Damon, what if you and me want the 49ers to win so you can see Fins fans be miserable? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Miami fans are used to being miserable, right? Ambry Thomas failed a physical, and that's why he got cut? Is that what happened? Is that how it all goes down? Did he fail his physical? I have not seen that. I'm not saying that you're not right, but I did not see that before I came on the air today. KB Toy Stores. Damon, we both ate paint chips as kids, and I feel this is why you have such amazing insight. Dude, not only was I eating paint chips, but they were like lead paint chips. I come from a generation where kids would eat lead paint and we would be fine. The next generation has got peanut allergies taking out kids at early ages. You just ain't as tough as we used to be. Again, I really mean it. I caught the last great American life. Got to grow up with no internet, no social media, not trying to look cool in front of anybody. Oh, it was the best. Oh, it was the best. I wish I could bring you all back to that time. You would have loved it. But then we wouldn't have YouTube and we wouldn't be able to hang out together, would we? We'd have to do it the old-fashioned way on the radio. We'll get to that in a second. By the way, Postman. Postman, no show tomorrow. How are you going to do that bottle pull for my 50th birthday? Send it in, Jerome. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. Wait, where is my... Send it in, Jerome. I mean, what can I tell you, Postman? We'll just celebrate this right now. We are celebrating the Postman's 50th birthday right now. How did you give me a present on your 50th birthday? Cheers. You know what? That gets not only an Irish coffee pull, it gets a whiskey pull. By the way, we will be doing a live stream during the Dolphins game. Why? Is it a party? No, but we're going to suffer together. We will hang out. We will suffer through it. Postman, again, I've been lucky enough to meet several listeners. I've never had anyone come as prepared with notes in our first meeting as you were at Victory Hall in like the first or second Plus Mania. I was so, and I'm so flattered by how much you enjoyed the goofy, stupid little show that I've been hosting in this market for 20 years. Used to be on the radio. Now we're over here. And the fact that you followed me over here too, and you are Mr. Super Chat, you are a part of the initiated. You are a man who has already picked up his merch. Happy 50th birthday, Postman. You are good people. You're my kind of people. We would have been friends in real life. Oh, wait a minute. We are friends in real life. That's how it works. People like the bottle pulls. And look, people love the Postman. Everybody in here. Happy birthday, Postman. We love you, Postman. Again, do they even get mail in Capitola without the Postman? You got Smiley Dan hoping that you have a nice, safe birthday. Happy birthday, Postman. You are the man. The Postman. Do you always ring twice? Sorry, that was terrible. Back to the Niners real quick to talk about Jed. Because for a minute there, I really did think that Jed York was going to be a big problem. Like when you brought in Tom Sula after the Harbaugh fiasco, when you then go to Chip Kelly, it was a disaster. Not to mention, I think you all know my position on Levi Stadium. I cannot stand that place. Not only is it the wrong stadium design, it's certainly built in the wrong place. I do not like it, Sam I Am. I do not like green eggs and ham and Levi Stadium. I just don't. That place makes an awful lot of money, though, for the San Francisco 49ers, and it's getting a Super Bowl again. So my opinion of that place is not the general consensus of the league or the business being done around the league. So what does my opinion matter? It doesn't. Levi Stadium does what it's supposed to do in terms of making the 49ers an incredible amount of money and maintaining their status as one of the most valuable franchises in the NFL. Their franchise value only goes up by breathtaking numbers year after year after year. And Jed York, who went from, he might become cantankerous, meddlesome. I'm worried that he thinks he knows too much about football and will be way too involved in the day-to-day, has retreated greatly from that concern. Jed York is a good owner, boys and girls. He is. He's a good owner. My faith in him has been restored. He knows the right way to go about this is enable the right people to perform well, cut the check, keep your mouth shut, pick up trophy at said time. That's it. That's all you can do as an owner. Write the check, stay out of the way, keep your mouth shut. Pick up the trophy. That's it. It's an easy, you'll be a great owner, simple 4-step program. And I guess that brings us to today's story about the New York Jets, doesn't it? Holy shit. Have you read this thing in The Athletic? I hope that you do. I hope that you'll see it. I hope that if you're not a subscriber to The Athletic, that you'll read what people have pulled to aggregate from this story and share it with you, because some of the stuff in there is wild. Story written by Mike Silver, Diana Rossini, and Zach, I forget his last name, I'm sorry, something, about the New York Jets is something else. Woody Johnson is having a race with David Tepper of the Carolina Panthers for which one of you guys is now officially the worst owner in the NFL. Like Mark Davis gets to sit up with his feet on a stool thinking, I'm not even in this conversation. And honestly, compared to how meddlesome David Tepper's become, and now what we've learned about Woody Johnson, Mark Davis might as well be the greatest owner in NFL history compared to what those guys are doing. There's a story right now about how Woody Johnson nixed a trade for Jerry Jeudy because his teenage sons didn't like his Madden rating. Jerry Jeudy is having a tremendous year. Jerry Jeudy might have helped earlier on in the year, but again, because his teenage sons didn't like his Madden rating, Woody Johnson nixed that deal. Woody Johnson wants guys benched when he wants them benched. He wants guys played when he wants them played. He thinks he knows more about football than his coaches, Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback, and his general manager, who he went about firing this year, Joe Douglas, right? It is just a disaster. And I mean, look, when it comes to hiring the Jets' next head coach, who, with any option, would want that job? You read this article and you know that you are built to be destroyed from above you by an owner who is a categorically undeniable cantankerous schmuck, and you're dead on arrival. Like, it doesn't matter what good ideas you have to put together, Woody Johnson will take them apart for you. It's unbelievable. You got to read the story. Someone will be the head coach of the New York Jets next year. It's a huge pile of money. Someone is going to take it, but no one should ever take the Jets seriously if even 50% of this story in The Athletic is true. And they got some real journalists who worked on that. So I'm going to say it's all true. But wow. You want to know what incompetent, you want to know what negligence, you want to know what self-destructive behavior looks like. If you're a 49er fan, you got no idea. Like this is like a terrible example to use around the holidays, but I've had friends who have, traveled the world and gone to places I haven't gone. And they'll tell you, like, if you want to redefine what the word poverty is, go to India. Like, go to like America, impoverished, sad stories of poor people in America are living in Beverly Hills compared to what being poor in Calcutta means. Being poor in Calcutta means you are a half-naked 6-year-old child who has no one looking after you, no one providing education, food, shelter, or clothes for you. You are wandering the streets alone at the age of 6 years old, destitute, with almost no future to be had. That's a level of poor that we can't even comprehend. The 49ers are American poor compared to the Jets, who are Calcutta poor. There is what you think is a bad situation is a great situation compared to actual really bad situations. It's been a rough year for Niners fans because the expectations are so high. There are other fan bases who live lives devoid of the concept of expectations of even going 500. I mean, it's bad. So next time you're going to complain about your state of poverty, travel to India. The next time you're going to complain about how bad the Niners are, watch the fucking Jets, okay? And tell me how bad you got it compared to them. Again, the Jets aren't 4 plays away from being a 10-win nothing. the 49ers kind of are 4 plays away. So again, good coach, he's got his flaws. Hopefully then correct them. Good roster has its flaws, needs to be corrected. Good GM has his flaws, needs to be corrected. Good quarterback, got a few flaws, needs to be corrected. This is, again, it's going to get a little bit better. Or it gets a lot worse and everything and the wheels all fall off next year, and then we can do the fire everybody season that so many of you wanted to do this season. But not yet. Not yet. One other note about football, but this is college football, and this just shows you that when you are out of sight, you are out of mind, and I'm not blaming this on San Jose State's athletic department, but do you realize that one of the single best college football players in America was in our backyard this whole time, and no, he wasn't at Stanford, and no, he wasn't at Cal. You're not playing in the ACC. San Jose State wide receiver Nick Nash had one of the greatest college football seasons any college football player has ever had in the Bay Area, and we didn't even know about it. We weren't told about it, and maybe if you're a diehard San Jose State fan, you knew about it. But this kid, Nick Nash, is San Jose State's first ever consensus All-American. He was one of only 8 FBS players and the only wide receiver to be a unanimous selection. To be selected, by the way, a player must be named first team on 2 of the 5 All-American teams that are out there. There's an All-American team from the American Football Coaches Association, from the Associated Press, from the Football Writers Association of America, from Sporting News, and from the Walter Camp Foundation. And he was a first-team All-American on all 5 of the lists. And why wouldn't he be? He's the 4th player all-time to earn the FBS college football receiving triple crown. He led the nation in catches, yards, and touchdowns. Nick Nash 104 catches, nearly 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns. He also led the country with 8.7 catches per game and 115.2 yards per game. And he threw 2 touchdowns to boot. He threw 2 more. Nick Nash, I would like to apologize for not talking about you until you were handed the award and we realized how good you were. This is my fault. This is me, because again, this you know what this is? This is radio's fault. Because if I were radio, I'd be thinking local more than bigger, broader national topics that YouTube's going to consume. And at no point in time am I thinking of doing San Jose State content for YouTube. I would have done this segment on the fucking radio. But again, this is what happens when you take good people away from jobs that they did well. And oh, by the way, I guess that brings us to the Jim Rome Show. I got a little something to tell you about here on the Jim Rome Show. First of all, let me just say, I have nothing but respect for Jim Rome and his career. Jim Rome once, actually, I think it was like 10 or 11 different times I filled in for Jim, which was a really big deal early on in my career. It was like wanting to drive a fast car and then being flipped the keys to the fastest Lamborghini in the history of garages. Like, I got to host my show in San Francisco, which, you know, big market, felt big at times. But then I would do the Jim Rome Show, and it was like you could feel the gravity of how big that show was. It was awesome. And the guy has been in West Coast morning drive his entire career, nearly 30 years here. East Coast midday slot for his entire career. Jim Rome, though, has been syndicated by Cumulus and Westwood One and will now be moving to afternoons. Barrett Media, Jason Barrett, my friend, said that Jim Rome has announced a new exclusive partnership to syndicate and distribute the Jim Rome Show. Now, Rome has already picked up his show and put it online on Twitter or X. He's there now, and he gets big numbers there. But he will be moving from noon to 3 East Coast to 3 to 6 East Coast. And the shift will go into effect on January 6th. So early in 2025, Jim Rome out of mornings on the West Coast and into afternoons. I mean, I'll just say this. Jim is one of the smartest animals in the jungle. No pun intended, right? It's the jungle. He's one of the smartest animals in the jungle. He has stayed ahead of an awful lot of the radio curves. At the TV simulcast with CBS Sports Network. Again, he's got to show up on Twitter. I see more stuff from him on YouTube now. And this is a guy who is still got a very relevant show at the age of 60. You know, Jim Rome is a king. He's done it all in this business. He's seen it all. And he's also, like I said, very smart. He knows which way the wind is blowing. And let me tell you what I already see happening here. Because a lot of local radio stations will go to syndicated programming until they get into afternoons, and then they offer up something locally because, you know, no one wants a national show and afternoon drive, unless I'm guessing it's like a big show like Jim Rome's. And then maybe that'll do for you. Roman Afternoon Drive is going to give local stations who are feeling financial pressures to cut back any and all budgets, fire any and all well-paid hosts, and well-paid hosts operate an afternoon and morning drive. They are going to replace an awful lot of local programming with Jim Rome syndication. It's great for Jim. I don't know if it's good for radio. It's certainly bad for local radio, and we'll see what happens next. 2023, brutal year for radio, for me personally, very rough. 2024, we've just watched it further decline. And by next year being over, I don't even know what the industry is going to look like. I certainly wouldn't want to bet on it. Lots of trouble coming for the radio industry. Are you ready to sprechen Sie Deutsch? With the Warriors, we are going to get our Dennis Schroeder debut against Memphis. Warriors need to start stacking some wins here to wrap up 2024 the right way, head into 2025 the right way. They started the year on positive notes. Positivity has been hard to find lately. I like Schroeder, though. I really do. I hope this is a positive move. I hope it affects the Warriors quickly. I want to see them back on their winning track. I want to be excited to watch Warriors-Lakers on Christmas Day. Let's go. Let's go. By the way, off the court, there's nothing but positive notes around the Golden State Warriors right now. Latest banknotes are letting the world know that the Golden State Warriors are worth $9.14 billion right now. They are the most valuable of all NBA franchises. And as a matter of fact, they're the second most valuable sports franchise in the United States, not named the Dallas Cowboys, but I also don't believe in that number at all, and I'll explain why. But the Warriors are worth $9.14 billion. The Knicks are worth $8.3 billion, and the Lakers are worth $8.07 billion. According to this report, Golden State considered the second most valuable franchise in the United States, trailing only the Dallas Cowboys, who are worth $10.3 billion. We do not live in a world where the most valuable NFL franchise is only $1 billion more than the most valuable NBA franchise. I'm telling you, if Jerry Jones turned around right now and said, Dallas Cowboys are for sale, best offer gets them by end of business, you would have someone come in with a $15 to $20 billion offer. It would probably be like a sheik from, from Saudi Arabia. It would be oil money. It would be who knows what it would be. But if the Golden State Warriors are worth almost $10 billion, the Dallas Cowboys are worth 20. Don't tell me that the Cowboys are only $1 billion worth more than the Golden State Warriors. No way. And don't tell me that the New York Yankees aren't worth more than the Golden State Warriors right now if the Steinbrenner family sold the New York Yankees. I mean, if they sold the New York Mets, they got one player whose contract value is nearly $1 billion. Just one player in Juan Soto. So, again, great news for the Warriors. And again, if the Warriors are worth nearly $10 billion, Cowboys, the Yankees got to be each worth closer to 20. And this brings us back to the show that I wanted to do 40 years ago that was invest in sports. Invest in sports. And if you can't buy the Cowboys, buy a whole bunch of Bitcoin. Oops. Should have done that show for you a really, really long time ago. It's not my fault. It's not my fault that we didn't get that show in. Got a little today in history for you. Again, happy birthday to the postman. We're predating history. Tomorrow, postman will become history, turning 50 years old. Well, not history like leaving us, but it's an historic birthday. That 50-year-old birthday, it's the last one you can get really excited about, right? Like 40, you can double that. You get to 50, probably not doubling that. So enjoy. Really, enjoy. Don't mean to go morbid on you. Maybe for your 50th birthday, postman, you get yourself Ike's. You get yourself a little sandwich. You get a little lunch from my man Ike. I think Ike gives big discounts to those who are rewards members on their birthdays if you don't get a free sandwich on your birthday. I think you do. So sign up for that Love Rewards program, all of you, and be ready to eat deliciously at Ike's. And if there isn't one near you, hopefully there will be soon. You got to go to the Dubliner and West Portal here in San Francisco to be at the Dubliner West Portal in San Francisco. But I'll be bringing Linda there at some point. The Dutchess will be at the Dubliner. And I got to be popping in over the holidays. I love those guys. If nothing else, I got to drop off some mugs for my guys at the Dubliner. And thanks so much, as always, to our good friends at BetUS. Again, use promo code YouTube150 when you go gamble over on BetUS and get 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your very first deposit. Thanks to all of the sponsors, all of the viewers. Couldn't do it without you. Hit like and subscribe, my friends. All right, here you go. Today in history. What happened? Well, back in 1948, on December 19th, ABC broadcast the very first ever NFL game over television. It was a championship game between the Chicago Cardinals and the Philadelphia Eagles today in 1948, today in 1971. You want a weird movie? I got a weird movie for you. A Clockwork Orange came out today. Stanley Kubrick's Ode to Random Violence came out today in 1971. I'll tell you right now, I've never been able to open my eyes underwater in my life. I'm afraid to. I will not open my eyes underwater. I just don't. I can't. I've sat on the bottom of the pool. I'm like, this is the year you're going to open your eyes. Just do it. You pussy, do it. And I can't do it. I have like an eye phobia. I can't even watch my wife put in contact lenses. The reason why I wear glasses is because I could never touch my eyeball with a contact lens. I couldn't do it. I got an eye phobia. So I can't stand that scene in A Clockwork Orange where they got the eye. Oh, it creeps me out so much. A Clockwork Orange was so controversial, violent, and filled with sexuality that it was actually given an X rating here in the United States. I've seen X-rated movies since then. They're a lot different than a Clockwork Orange. Speaking of movies and big movies, one of the single biggest movies of all time came out today in 1997. Titanic by James Cameron dropped today. Oh, speaking of big events.
I'm a big event.
Hold on, folks. The Dutchess is here. Hold on. Hold on. We're going to get you a seat.
Oh,
We're going to pull you up. The Dutchess
has arrived.
We're doing Today in History. Mom, today in 1997, Titanic came out.
I loved that.
How many times have you seen Titanic?
3. But I brought Grandma because I thought it was so wonderful. She slept through the whole.
Oh, well, you got to get in. You got to get in picture here.
Okay.
There you go.
Hi.
This is the Dutchess. Some of you have met her in person. Some of you have gotten drunk with her. Some of you, Indigo Red, have hit on her. But that's okay. I grew up with MILF jokes my entire life.
Very, very nice. Yeah, I'm responsible for this sweetheart. Look at him. He's so cute.
Did I ever tell you my gross Titanic story that I shouldn't share with my mom?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, I'm in college. It's 1997. I'm there with buddies. I went and saw Titanic in the theater a couple times because one was a date. The other was like a group of friends that went, and it was a spectacular movie. I mean, it was incredible to see.
Kidding.
So I went and saw Titanic a few times. And then, it's some Saturday or Sunday morning. This is when I'm living with Clark and Sherman and Koski, and we're all in that house on 17th Street by Dave's Convenient in Indiana. This is all my college days. We're living in a house off campus. And I hear everyone talking about the Titanic, and I'm just getting out of bed lately, and I hear everyone, well, my favorite part was, and what I really liked was, and I'm hearing a few voices that I don't even recognize. But, I'm coming out to the kitchen to make coffee or grab an orange juice or something, and without even looking in the living room, just to be, as Damon-y as possible, I said, hey, my favorite part of Titanic is when he drew her naked, then fucked her in the car. And Chuck's like, hey, Chuck, come on out. My parents are here. Damon, come on out. My mom's here.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh.
Wow. You can't just say that on the radio.
Hey, we're not on the radio anymore.
You're right.
We're not on the radio.
Say what you want.
We're not on. You can swear. Let her rip.
I don't like to.
Let her rip.
No, I would not do that.
You want a sip of whiskey?
Sort of, but no, I won't do that. No, I just wanted to say hello to everybody.
I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I really do. Yeah, it's been a rough year, I think. Do you think? Has
been rough for the Niners?
Oh, yeah. You could ask me anything you want about sports.
Damon, you look older than your mom. Thank you, Ty. I do. I do.
Yeah, ask me anything you want, and I'm sure I won't know it. It's all right.
Sporticus, don't throw the necklace sign. Yeah, seriously, hold on to that. Why is that old lady throw that necklace overboard?
You mean the heart?
Yes, that's the heart does not go on. Yeah, the heart went to the bottom of the ocean. But a lot of people are happy to see you here. Seriously, everybody, the Dutchess, that's Mom. There's Chef A, the Dutchess.
Oh, Chef A, hi.
There you go.
Hi.
Albert, she got a radio voice. She got a great voice.
Oh,
great pipes.
Good. I did work for a radio station once.
You did?
Yeah.
Were you on-
WPTR.
Were you on air, though, or just answering phones?
I was answering phones, but I also got to do those little spots, where they make sounds like.
Please don't do that.
Well, that's what I was doing.
There you go. So back in 1974, my mom broke into radio by faking orgasms on WPTY.
I wasn't.
Okay.
I was just breathing hard.
All right. Well, let's not talk about any real or fake orgasms in your life. And I don't want to talk about that with you either.
No. I mean, this is a sports. What do we talk about now?
Well, what do you think the Niners are going to do against the Dolphins? First of all, what city do the Dolphins play in?
Florida?
That's a state. Where are the Dolphins from, Mom?
Miami.
Yes!
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 See, I'm very good at this.
Remember when we used to talk about the Redskins and you thought they were potatoes?
Yeah.
That happened.
So where am I supposed to be looking? Where's the
camera's up there?
Oh,
right above the island. There you go.
Hi. I'm going to get out of here, but I just wanted to wish.
By the way, San Bruno, Mike,
lovely
oatmeal scotchy time. It is oatmeal scotch.
Oh, and you know what? I'm going to make them. I totally am. Oh, he remembers.
Yes. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Look,
Well,
you're
I just
getting
got here last
hello
night.
from Japan. Konnichiwa.
Oh, lovely.
Konnichiwa. Thank you, Joji. And I'm going to tell you right now, Ray Ratto likes the oatmeal scotchies. I bet you. Here's the thing: if I called Ray and said, "Ray, I want to come over and give you some cookies," he'd be like, "No." But if you called him, he'd be like, "Yeah, your mom's sweet." Ray didn't like me; he liked you.
Well, I'll make him cookies.
See, how do you not like that?
Well, do you think that would get him on here?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably
He's
not.
all done.
I think we're all done. I think we're done too.
Yeah, I know I am.
Here's a good. Bill M says, Damon, Merry Christmas to both you. Give your mama my number. We're the same age. Hey.
Oh.
Bill, no hitting on. You can't tip me and hit on my mom at the same time. You make me feel like a pimp. Can't have that.
I'm going to be 78 in 2 months.
I've always told her she's in the Lonnie Anderson bracket. Look at that. 78 years old. You're gorgeous, Mom. Beautiful on the inside.
Makeup and hair, but
whose hair is it?
Have it. I don't know. I buy it.
And all I can tell you is that we've gone through our days. And oh no, wait. So our last point in history. Oh, I'm sorry you were here for this one, Mom. On this day in history in 1998, the U.S. House of Representatives impeached Bill Clinton.
Wow.
It rhymed with snow job. Remember when that was the biggest problem in the country?
Yeah, boy. Sorry, everybody. We're not going to get political, but we're in a mess.
There you go.
We'll get out of it. Be positive.
Be positive. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas from the Bruces. Merry Christmas from the Dutchess. Thank you so much for being here.
All.
We love you too. And so let's see if you officially remember how we wrap things up here, Mom, when we let everybody know that sports don't build character.
They reveal it.
And like that,
he's gone.
Ta-da.